Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 7, Who's Crying Now? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because you know you are into it. And let's jump right into this episode. The first couple that we're going to talk about, Ash and Avery. In this episode, Ash decides that he's gonna take Avery on a getaway after seeing his brother doing basically an interrogation on her, and Ash being so stressed out about that confrontation that he going ahead and had a drink, girl. When that man don't even drink, in solidarity with her against his brother, but also to calm his nerves. I love this. I love the fact that she's coming to visit him for a couple of days, and within that visit, he then takes her on an extra getaway. They get to Cairns. They sit on the rocks by the ocean. She tries to get him to talk about his son and meeting his ex-wife, and he is scared to talk to her about it, that he just kind of says his flowery stuff to her and says that, you know, everything will be okay. And she's like, get it, I get it. You know what to say. What I'm asking you is, when am I gonna meet her and let's hash out this whole situation about you possibly moving to the US with your son. And he's just really scared and frightened. Okay, let's move on to the next couple. Let's move on to Yolanda and Williams. Okay, in this big ass scam, Yolanda is now really concerned about what happened to Williams and his deleted Instagram, and she thinks that it is a full web meltdown. She's like wanting to call Instagram, she's wanting to call Facebook because they own Instagram, and figure out who hacked her boo-boo's account, because the Williams wouldn't lie to her. Not to Yolanda. They have had 7 long months of deep conversation and loving words towards each other that she can't even fathom that it isn't him up to no good. No one is gonna ruin that image of him. So she finally breaks down and tells her daughter something shady is happening with his Instagram. She's got some really beautiful like blue eyeliner that I was just really into, and I just want it to look like that on me, but it doesn't look like that on me. It's so sad. I need to find like a navy blue eyeliner, and I think that it would be really good. Or like, the blue has to be just right, you know? Sorry. So Yolanda tells her daughter about the deleted Instagram account, and that gets her daughter on an internet sleuthing mission, okay? She is like Blue's Clues, Agatha Christie, you know what I'm saying? Pintois. She is going in on that internet trying to look up the number, the name, all of those things. She says to her mother, Mom, this is a Nigerian number. Nothing that anyone can say about Williams can change Yolanda's mind, because he has been nothing but loving, respectful, and supportive during these long 7 months of them knowing each other. And when her daughter tells her that the number that he has is a Nigerian number, Yolanda looks at her and says, Nigerian? How can he be Nigerian with a British accent? All of us are like, okay, Yolanda, he could be Nigerian one of 2 ways. The one way is that he could be of Nigerian descent, either born in Nigeria or born in the UK, and that's how he can be a Nigerian person with a British accent. There are lots of Nigerians in London who have British accents because they're British. Or, which, I don't know, he could be just lying to your ass. But the actual truth is, he does not have a British accent. Why do they got this black woman on television looking like a whole dumb bumpkin fool? How is it possible that you hear a Nigerian accent and then the Nigerian tells you that they are British and you go, oh, that is a British accent? Yolanda is lying to us. She is not this dumb. I refuse to believe that. That man that is in those pictures is an Italian model. I just don't know what else to say. Yolanda is scamming us, because I know her daughter said, Mom, that's not the person you're dating. That guy does not want to date a 53-year-old woman from Las Vegas who was in a relationship for the last 30 years with a man who was robbing jewelry stores. At this point, I'm just offended with the things that she's saying. So within their fake ass storyline, Williams is now no longer talking to Yolanda. Yolanda cannot get in contact with him. It's been 4 days. She's been sending him messages, asking him if he's Nigerian. He's not responding. And then they make some comment about Nigerian scammers that I'm just like, was it necessary? Was that comment even necessary? Because you are the whole fool in this scenario. So the next couple that we are going to talk about is Erica and Stephanie. So this whole segment was rife with miscommunication, and so it added a little bit of like extra oomph to their segment, and so I was kind of into it. So we begin their segment with Erica taking Stephanie out to do something fun. And what they're doing is they are making a mold, a plaster mold of their boobies, and then painting them as art. It's like a fun group of girlfriends. That has to be a lesbian specific activity because I love my friends, but there is no way that I'm gonna go to a booby casting event where they touch my breasts, make a mold, and then we paint them. So I think it was very much tailored to a specific audience, which is fine. But also Stephanie didn't want to do it. And so this is where we get into a little bit of the YouTube persona game versus how this person is in real life. So Erica says that based on what Stephanie has presented online, this seemed in line with her branding, seemed in line with something that she would be down with. And Stephanie even admits like, yeah, I could see why she would think that. But, you know, getting to know each other in person, it's a little bit different. Like, I'm not necessarily as comfortable. Like, maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I think this is a great idea. But do I want to do this on camera while I have a camera crew filming me with someone that I just met, even though we've been dating for a while, but I'm just physically meeting them. So I get where Stephanie's coming from, and I'm glad that she acknowledged her role in this miscommunication. And so it's a little awkward. Stephanie goes through with it. I guess they're having a good time and they're talking about it. And then the other couple that's in the room or in the class with them asks about how this long distance thing is gonna work. And Stephanie very casually is just like, yeah, well, when she moves to the US, and Erica's like, when I moved to the US, like, I have a whole business here and family. Like, we didn't discuss this. And Stephanie's like, yeah, we did. Remember that time we talked about you coming to the US? She's like, yeah, I guess we discussed it, but we didn't like talk about it in real terms. And you know what? I am very much understanding Stephanie's point of view. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. It's never like, oh, I said I was going to do it, but like, I mean... If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. And if I don't do it, I am beating myself up internally for not doing it. So I could understand having a long distance relationship with someone, conversing with them, talking about who's gonna do what, who's gonna move where. And then you say, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. And this is our plan. And you thinking that it is a solid plan. And the other person is not thinking that. The other person is just like, oh, we're just talking. We're just like brainstorming. But no, Stephanie's like all about creating roots in this situation. And Erica is just like, it was a pipe dream. Like the actual idea of me uprooting my life and moving to the US is a deeper conversation that we need to have. And then later on, Stephanie decides to take Erica out on a date and she wants to make Erica feel like a princess. So she unveils another gift. And I'm just like, is this girl gonna give her a gift every other day? Like this sounds, I mean, she's great. I want someone to come to my country and present me with gifts every day. And it's a really cute like crown because she says you're my princess. They go out and I guess Stephanie had done her research and found a place that's, you know, Yelp said it was super romantic. Stephanie says that the booby thing was a little weird and it did make her slightly uncomfortable. And so Erica's like, okay, well, this is date number 2. I guess I failed on. First, I took you to the animal place, which you loved, but like is dangerous for your bone marrow disease. And then Stephanie's like, well, I saw on your phone that you have a dating app and would you be open to taking it off? And Erica's just like, okay, I want you to know that I use this dating app for the other side of it, which has nothing to do with dating and it's all about making connections. Here's the thing that I think a lot of Americans miss when they go to these other countries. Other countries have different ways of communicating. For example, the entire international community uses an app called WhatsApp. The only Americans that I know that know about WhatsApp are Americans who have family members who are outside of this country or friends who are outside of this country. I understand that there might be things or apps and such that are used slightly differently in other countries. For example, Facebook is a lot of the way people in certain parts of Asia get their news. Countries use different apps differently. But Erica says, you know what? Not gonna argue. I'm just gonna take it off since I see that it's a problem. If you've been in a long distance relationship with someone for 4 months and then they come to your country and start to ask you to make little changes, how would you feel? They're in a relationship, but I don't think they're in a real relationship as far as Erica is concerned. I think this is more so Erica getting to know this person that she likes, and maybe she hasn't been talking to anybody else, but she hasn't necessarily cut off all other options. So we're starting to see that these two people have a very different idea of what this relationship is. Stephanie going to Australia, from Stephanie's perspective, was a huge risk. So Stephanie is basically like feeling like, I have put myself in danger to come here for you. You should do everything for me to make me comfortable. And Erica is like, but I didn't tell you to risk your health to come here, and I didn't know that it was so bad. Otherwise, I might not have been okay with you coming here if I knew you were gonna hold it over my head. Erica's just like, you can't buy me gifts and do all these things and then expect me just to be your slave. Like, you don't own me. And I understand where Erica is coming from, because it's kind of manipulative for Stephanie to put herself in such a dangerous situation and then keep telling this girl, I've done all this for you, I've done all this for you. Now, I don't know if that's true in real life, but that's what is set up in this episode. And it was kind of interesting to see Erica hold her ground. Now, I feel for Stephanie, because Stephanie's like, you're not the person that I knew, and started crying. And I'm like, girl, you don't know her. And I think that's the reality that Erica is aware of, but Stephanie is not. You don't know her, and she really doesn't know you, because she only knows your online persona and or the persona you would be in a perfect world. Because that's what we present, right? The persona we would be in a perfect world. Like, there are people who probably work with me who think I'm such a bitch, but y'all think I'm great. But not everybody thinks I'm great in real life. Erica gets up off the table. She walks away, walks down the street. Stephanie's sitting in the restaurant crying. Yeah, that's the end of their segment. All right, let's move on. Geoffrey and Varia. So Geoffrey and Varia get on a plane to go to Siberia to meet Varia's mother. Geoffrey did not bring a gift for Varia's mother. He did not know he needed to. Varia says, well, I should have told him, but also he should have known. And you know what? Yeah, you should have known. You should have bought the mother a gift if you knew you were meeting her. I could see if you didn't know. Also, I'm just like, Varia, why didn't you tell him to get some flowers while y'all were in the airport? Like, you know he doesn't have any flowers secretly hidden away in his bag. So they pull over, get some side of the road flowers. They get to her mother's house, and she has a big reunion with her mother. I guess her mother hasn't spoken to her or seen her in a long time. And so they start to make some kind of little pastries, and the mother's kind of very stern and like, no, this is how you do it. Like, whatever. She doesn't speak English. So Varia has to translate, and we all know when Varia translates, a lot of things get lost in translation. So basically the mother wants to know how she can trust Geoffrey. I mean, meanwhile, all of us in the audience know that Geoffrey has had a very negative, sordid history with his women and with his children, and it's kind of alarming and like real crazy that TLC decided that he was a proper candidate for this show. But that's neither here nor there at this time. So we all know that Geoffrey's a nutcase and that Varia should run for the hills. And her mother is kind of like, questions. But she says in her confessionals that she thinks that he's a pretty nice guy, and that, you know, she's okay with Geoffrey. And then Geoffrey's like feeling the heat, because he's like, there's a lot that Varia doesn't know about me. You know, I've been to prison when I was younger for selling drugs, and he just makes it seem like it's just that. But I'm like, we all know it's way more than that. Having your kids be drug mules, being in jail for hitting your wife. There's so much going on with Geoffrey outside of that it was really hard to watch with any kind of like, oh, it was kind of like, Varia, Varia, be careful. Also, PS, if you guys know this YouTuber named Trisha Paytas, she has been like doing her damnedest to get on the 90-Day Fiancé like radar on Instagram, and she had a conversation with Geoffrey and she was talking about how much she hates Varia, and I was just like, girl, you don't even know, like, you're just a troll trying to come in here and add your little funk to this situation. But it made me annoyed. Like, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Darcy and Tom. Darcy is sitting there talking to Tom, and Tom is just like, well, how are you? She's like, I'm well. Darcy looks great. Her lashes are like very calm and they're on. You don't see the glue. One's not hanging off. It's not cockeyed or like wonky. It's this awkward moment. Darcy's like, thank you for fitting me into your schedule. And he's like, how was Malta? And she was like, Stacey and I had a great time. Thank you for your happy birthday text. I was waiting for a phone call because you promised, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And Tom is like, that's great, Darcy. And then Darcy's like, do you have something to tell me, Tom? Just go ahead and say it. About your new girlfriend. And then Tom says, I did meet somebody 3 months ago in Milan for Fashion Week, and she loves me the way I need to be loved. And then Darcy's like, oh. Wow. And then Tom says, every time I would call and talk to you, you started talking about yourself. You never wanted to listen to, that's not, let me finish. I just got really tired of hearing the Jessie thing. So over and over again, we just talk about Jessie and your problems with Jessie, and you brought Jessie into our relationship. Darcy's like, you had everything of me in your hands and you didn't see it. Okay. I do love you, Darcy. Oh. I love you like a sister or a cousin or a beloved family pet. That's awkward. You couldn't love me the way I needed to be loved. Everything was about you. Darcy's like, check please. I'll pay for his coffee. No, it's okay. You are dead to me. You are nothing to me. I'm glad. Good. Great. Have a nice life. And then Tom says, did you put on some weight? What? How dare Tom talk about Darcy putting on weight when he literally was 65 pounds bigger than every picture that he sent her? And then when she got to London, instead of looking like James Bond, he looked at like Mr. Bean, and we were supposed to be impressed. And maybe she did gain a little weight because you were stressing her the out. You didn't even call her on her birthday, Tom. You sent her a text and you're supposed to be her man. Then you met this woman and you didn't even have the audacity to tell her that you wanted to break up and you were dating somebody else. She had to come and ask you if there was something that you wanted to say to her. I mean, WTF, Tom. So Darcy leaves and she's upset, but she says that she's over it and she's glad that it happened, and she honestly wishes that he had just called her and told her over the phone. All right, so the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Ed and Rose. So Ed and Rosemary get to Rosemary's village and the camera pans around to all of the poverty. Ed is like, oh my God, it's like a third world country. I'm just like, Ed, you don't know where you are? And she's like, you like it? And he doesn't even know what to say. Here's the deal. When I know I'm about to walk into a situation that might be kind of messed up, I come up with pre-planned sayings to say. God, it's the fresh air. This is village life, girl. Loving it. Look at the chickens. Chickens just walk around. How convenient. The jungle. Ooh, look at this. It's picturesque. Look at that skyline. Great. Everything is concrete. Oh, right. There's a lot of moisture in the air, and so it makes sense that everything would be concrete, because if it were wood or metal, it would either rust or rot. Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, like something, nothing. He's just like, and sweating profusely. Sweating profusely. Oh, I forgot. Shit, I didn't even talk about the, skipped a part. So we get to them. They are in that hotel in Manila, and Ed wants to make this entire experience like really romantic for Rose. And Rose doesn't really know what's going on. She's just looking at him like side-eye the entire time. He's like, okay, go shower, go take a bath. I'm gonna get everything set up. So he's like creeping around the hotel, and he's like, oh yes, room service. I would like to order your finest champagne. Okay, yeah, thank you. And then the guy comes, come in, shh, shh. Okay, put this over here. Okay, I'm gonna pop this bottle. I'm gonna pour some champagne. Okay, thank you. Bye. He lets the guy out. He's like whispering and scampering around, and Rose comes out. This child did not take a warm bath. She hopped in that shower. She doesn't often get the kind of showers where like it like rains down on you and you can just let the water run. You know what I'm saying? She has a different lifestyle at her house. So I'm sure, she's got a different lifestyle at her house. So I'm pretty sure that she's like, let me just shower because this is great. Water just coming down on me. I don't have to pull it out of a bucket. It's perfect. She comes out and she's got her robe on and she's looking at him like she doesn't know what he's up to. He sits her down on the towel and then she opens her robe and he's like, oh. And I was just like, oh. And then he gets the massage oil. He sits down on the ground. He takes her feet, starts to massage her feet. And he's like rubbing on her leg. He's like, how do you like this? And she's like, it's good. And then they go to sleep and wake up. Producers ask her how the night was. She says it was just kiss, kiss. And they went to sleep. Producers ask Ed how the night was, and Ed's like, we made sweet love and it was wonderful. I was like, oh. Could you imagine that face above you? I can't even imagine Rose getting into it. I imagine she just laid there and he was just like sweating and like pumping and he's just looking down at her. Could you imagine just being like, he's like, whoa, whoa. Like, hi Rose, hi, wake up. And she wakes up and she's like, oh, I just want to sleep in this warm bed. Like, you don't understand, I sleep on the concrete most of the time. Oh, it's great. And he's like, so Rose, I noticed that your legs were hairy and you know, it's more feminine and it's better if you shave your legs. And I was like, fuck you. Too old to be saying things like that. I don't know, girl, I don't shave my legs. I mean, I also don't have like razor sharp hair and I don't think that she does either. Like when you don't shave your legs, you may have long hair, but like, girl, it's not razor sharp. I can't bring my leg up that high, but like, I can't bring my leg up that high. Get out of here. You want me to shave my leg? Shut up. No. But anyway, she goes into the bathroom and shaves her legs because then she says that he needs to shave his face because his beard is prickly and it's hurting her. And I'm like, yeah, because he doesn't brush it or moisturize it. So then he shaves his face. And honestly, I didn't think it could get any worse for Ed. When he shaves his face, to me, he just looks like if Ed were to fall, all the king's horses and all the king's men wouldn't be able to put him together again. A hard-boiled egg with a crop of jet black hair on top. She likes his face shaved. I beg to differ, and they go to her village. They get to the front of the shop. The sister Maria is standing out there. Now, remember, there is this drama between him and Maria asking for money, and Maria is looking at Ed like, she goes to shake Ed's hand and she cannot get over what is in front of her. She tells the cameras that he is shorter than her and fat. Rose is trying to be positive and like, yeah, smile at him, Maria. And Maria just like shakes his hand and he's like, oh, I've seen your shop from video chat. This is your shop. And she's like, yes. And they go inside the shop and her family has set it up and they're like, surprise! And they've got the food laid out. They've got tables and chairs and they put up some curtains to kind of hide the cinder blocks. And Ed is like, and Rose is like, what do you think? What do you think of my home? And he's like, where are the windows? Oh, it's just open up. Those aren't windows. That's just open. So are there any flying cockroaches or flying bats? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Like, you know, she doesn't understand what he's saying. And he's just like, oh, okay, okay. And then they just do shots of like all the like random junk she has. They have like ferreted away in the back, and like then this like chicken. But they sit down and they start to eat, and Ed wants to wait for the dad, and the dad gets there because he's on the piggy farm. Then the dad is just looking at Ed like, the dad staring at Ed is what we are all thinking. He is an entire mood, okay? Finally, they start to eat, and you know, Ed takes like the bare minimum of the food that they have painstakingly prepared for him. And he starts to feed the chicken grains of rice. But first, before he feeds the chicken, he asks her if it is a chicken. I mean, it may not look like any chicken you've seen, but like what else would it be? If it's not a chicken, what else is it? Also, was he feeding the chicken? Ed is just gonna, I know he's gonna cut up. Like Ed does not, he is an embarrassment to us as American. Like he's just as bad as Lisa. All right, so let's move on to Usman and Lisa. All right, so let me just, here's the picture of them, just to remind you what we're getting ourselves into. So this is hot off the heels of them getting to the chalet and Lisa complaining about it. So Usman has been gone for what I assume is 50 minutes. He went to walk his friend out. And I guess he just must have walked around, like went and got some like hookah stuff and like, you know, just prepare himself for the evening with Lisa because he's already frustrated and fed up with her shenanigans and embarrassment in front of his friends. So he gets back and she's just like, where were you? 20 minutes after you left, I opened the door to come find you and I was terrified. You promised that you weren't ever going to leave my side while in Nigeria. I'm in a foreign country and I swear to God, I was terrified. Well, they sit down and have a conversation where he's like, you are always mad at me. My accent is really bad. He sounds different than Michael, so the way that they speak English is different. But anyways, here goes. I cannot be wrong all of the time, okay? Ever since you've got here, I have been by your side. You have been mad at me every day. There is a problem every day. And I say, okay, I take it. I do what you say. For you, Lisa. And everything he says, she has a dumb rebuttal. None of us are perfect. And he's like, I'm not saying that we're perfect. What I'm saying is that every day there's an issue. There's a problem. I strive to fix it. You're never happy. And you're always angry at me. And this cannot be the case. I cannot be wrong every single time anything happens. I cannot keep saying, I am sorry. You are not a god, Lisa. So he's expressing himself and she's like, I thought you had more faith in our relationship. So you better make a decision and you better make a decision quick. What do you mean? What if he's like, okay, I'm out, and then he leaves her? What's she gonna do? Hide up in that chalet and not eat for a week and then somehow get her way to the airport to go home? First of all, calm down with all that. You don't have the upper hand in this situation at all. It's like she just went to the worst case scenario and instead of being like, babe, I'm really stressed out. I'm in a foreign country. I'm nervous. I have anxiety all of the time. Like, so I'm sorry if I'm coming off rude or crazy. And it's just too much. She's like, the person I knew, the person I've been talking to for 2 years is not the man that just walked out of here. And I'm like, he didn't even do anything to you, Lisa. He didn't do anything to you but express himself. And then she's like, lower your voice. You're raising your voice. He's like, I'm not raising my voice. I'm telling you how I feel. The tone of your voice is going up. Shut up with the tone of your voice is going up. Stop trying to throw like things that don't matter in the mix just so that you can feel like you have the upper hand. It doesn't matter that he's not perfect, you're not perfect. It doesn't matter that he's not always right or you're not always right. None of that matters. But I was so proud of him for standing up for himself and really telling her in clear words how he felt. What I am saying is, if this is how you are behaving in Nigeria, how are you going to behave when we are in the United States, when I don't have any friends, any family, any mother, father, brother to run to? She's terrified because she's in a foreign country. Like, what's gonna happen to her? So, you know, Usman's like, I have a great opportunity to go to the US to be an international musician, but I do not think it's going to happen. And we're just like, wow. I mean, at least he's being honest, the cameras. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this recap. I really hope that you enjoyed it. You know, I do my best to entertain you guys and keep y'all laughing during this time. So if you like my content, please share on any social media platforms you want to, okay? Give it to Reddit, give it to Instagram, give it to Facebook. Do what you gotta do for your girl. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Be safe out there, you guys. Check out these videos here. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.